better. Today I'm going to be starting to build a chicken pen, a chicken run for the chickens that I have coming pretty soon and the chickens I have in the incubator. And it is a Vevor chicken run, and I've already pulled the directions out and I've pulled the parts out. I've got them all organized as I'm going to need them. And I started building it. I forgot to start my camera, but I basically put together the corner piece. That's about a 4-foot section to 2 pieces that are going to hold the door. Another 4-foot section and a corner piece, and I also did the far end, which is a corner piece, a roughly 4.5, 5-foot section, a center piece, and another corner piece. The dimensions of this, I built one already. We're going to connect the two of them together. So this one is 10 by 20, and also the one I'm building today is 10 by 20. And so it's going to give them a 10 by 40 run in this area of my yard, right in front of this wide section of the barn. And they're going to come straight out through there. And this one that's built already will definitely be a little closer. And we're going to tie the two of them together. And I'm not going to do the wire today. I'm not going to do the tarps over the top today. I'm just going to get the framing on this second one built today. So I'll take you along with me, and then I'll do some more video when I do the wire and the hardware cloth around the base. I have 100 feet of hardware cloth that I'm going to put all the way around the base to keep predators from digging down in and under the run to get to the chickens. And I'll take you along with me on that. It's going to take me probably a couple weeks to finish it all. And then I'm going to build a coop inside it, actually 2 coops. I'm going to get the wood for that from Home Depot Friday. And so once I get these pens built, I'll lug the wood in and build 2 coops. It's going to be a permanent setup. These chickens, I'll just open one of the doors and let them out when I'm home, and they can free range when I'm home. This is for the laying hens, and but for their protection, we're going to be keeping them enclosed when nobody's around. You know, the hawks and the eagles and the owls won't be able to get them from the air because this has chicken wire across the top, and it's going to have tarps on part of it as well for rain and snow protection. There's actually going to be very little of it that's uncovered at the roof, probably none of it. And then in the summer, we're just going to roll up the sides and tie them off so they can have airflow in the summer and look around a little bit more. But in the winter, they're going to need all the protection they can, so those tarps will go right down to the ground and keep the wind and snow off them. The meat birds, I'm going to build 2 chicken tractors. That'll probably hold 25 to 30 birds a piece. Next year I'll build more chicken tractors because I'm going to go full-scale meat bird production here next year and stop mowing. But this year I'd just like to get 2 chicken tractors after I get this pen and the 2 coops built. The coops will hold probably 15 to 20 birds a piece, and that's what we're going to have for laying hens. And I'll just keep that number up if birds die or they're just not producing anymore. And that's something you need to think about. When your laying hens stop producing, what are you going to do with them? You either got to sell them as non-producing hens to somebody who wants some chicken pets. You got to keep them as pets yourself, or what I'll probably do is they go to the stew pot after 4 or 5 years. You know, they've been giving us eggs and now they're stopped laying eggs, and they go to meat for us to eat. So that's the way it'll be. Plus we're going to produce probably 15 to 20 meat birds for ourselves every year. And I'm going to do 50 meat birds to sell this year. And next year I'm thinking probably 300 total meat birds throughout the summer that I'll produce to sell next year. But I'll take you along with me as I build this run and the chicken coops, and I'll put some videos up for you to watch. They just snap together, so there's no nuts and bolts for this until you get to the door. Then there are a few, but it's pretty easy to put together. To begin with, I'm sure the chicken wire is not going to be a lot of fun. Chicken wire is never a lot of fun. Around the entire thing, I'm going to put 3 strands of electric fence, and I'm going to charge it. Because I think I'm pretty predator proof with my design for raccoons, possums, skunks, eagles, hawks, and owls. Something as small as a weasel or ermine might still be able to get in through chicken wire, but they pretty much just eat eggs, not birds. So I'm not super concerned about them. The other predator that we have around here, you know, coyotes, foxes, they're not going to be able to dig through the hardware cloth. It would take them a long time to get through the chicken wire. But bears, we have bears. And a bear, they're going to go right through chicken wire. So the 3 strands of electric fence around the whole thing will help with foxes, will help with coyotes. It will definitely help with bears, because a bear could trash this whole thing in no time. I mean, I have wooden sheds that I keep my garbage cans in, and I've seen some of the bears rip the doors right off them, and then I got to rebuild the door. Last spring I had to rebuild the door twice to keep the bear out. So bears, especially this time of year, late April, May, they just came out of hibernation. They're hungry. They'll get into anything. Luckily, our chickens won't be out here till probably mid-May, mid to late May. So hopefully the bears will have found their food by then. Helps a lot since I already did one of these. Plus I can see it sitting right there behind the camera. So it gives me an idea of what pieces go where. Plus I still have the directions out. I mean, it really is nice that it just snaps together. I mean, it's definitely not as strong as a wooden pen, but it should last longer. Unless you build your wooden pen at all pressure treated lumber, which is going to get very expensive. When you're talking about expense, this only costs $240 each one of them. And I'm here to tell you, with wood, there's no way I'd build this entire pen for less than $240. It's just impossible. This is where the second person comes in handy, because they can hold the other end of the pole, so you don't have to hold it all up. now you gotta like hold the whole pole up from this end, which they're not very heavy, but it's just easier with two people. Little tricky. I can reach 6 feet, so I don't need a step stool. Let's see how this goes. It's only about 41 degrees, but with this sun out, it's nice. Short people problems aren't always a problem though, because this thing only stands a little over 6 feet in the center, so even me, you know, down here, I'm going to be in the chicken wire right here. I'm going to have to crouch over here, but I can walk through the center just fine. There we go. Fixed. Line this pole up, get it to set in there, get the other pole to snap in, stay put. Tight here. There we go. So there's just these little hoops, they call them, and that's how that door frame will stay attached. Take these nuts and bolts. This is the only place where there's nuts and bolts when you're making the door. pretty simple. It just takes the time to do it. It's not very hard. Like I said, for 200, I think it was 240 or 250, you can't get a better chicken run. One place that they screwed up designing this, they easily could have made this with the push button snap togethers, but instead this is the one place where they want you to use nuts and bolts and these little silly clamps, which are just ridiculous to use. Definitely could have come up with a better design at this point in the process. Got all the nuts and bolts in my pockets, and I brought the directions. M2 to 4. Oh, that white truck is backing into my driveway. Onto my lawn. Now he's going left out of my driveway. Can't make it, as all vehicles can't make it. And he's turning around and going north on Steel Hill Road. Now he's down behind my shed. I guess I gotta go pay him a visit, find out what he's doing. one big bolt, one little bolt for each clamp. One big nut and one little nut for each clamp. Up is not going to be very simple. Come on, you're right there. Got it. Door's still a little crooked. Go. That's it, finished product. Hey everybody, we're back out at the chicken coop. I took the, yesterday I didn't get any video of it, but I took the two separate 10 by 20 pens and Caleb helped me carry them together, and then I just flexi tied them together all the way across and across the bottom. So now we have our 10 by 40 chicken pen, and I'm not worried about these seams here because they're going to be covered with chicken wire. So what I'm doing today is I'm starting with wire, and I'll get you a close-up, but right behind me here I'm putting down hardware cloth, 3-foot hardware cloth, 1/2-inch squares, and that is going to go just under the bottom rails. And then I'm going to fold it up and connect it directly to the chicken wire, which is going to come over the top of the bottom rail and fold under. So both pieces fold under, and then I'm going to flexi tie them together. It'll create a pretty impenetrable seal across the bottom. I have little fabric stakes that I'm staking in the ground to keep these pieces of hardware fabric on the ground. And what I'm eventually going to do, once I get all the wire up, is I'm going to put a thin layer of dirt over the top of the hardware cloth. I'm going to plant seed, and it'll just become part of the lawn right here next to the chicken coop. So in order to get something to get underneath the chicken coop, it's going to have to dig a 3.5-foot tunnel. And I don't know too many critters that'll do that in one evening. So if I see something starting to dig from the outside of the hardware cloth, which I don't expect to because I think they're going to come up close to the edge, they're going to start digging, and they're going to run into metal right away on their paws and their claws, and they're going to realize that hurts, and they're not going to be able to get through it, and they're going to give up trying to get into the chicken coop. That's the hope, at least. But if something does try and tunnel underneath all three feet of hardware cloth, we'll see it the next morning, the hole that's begun, and I'll just start filling it full of rocks. And I'll make the raccoon or the skunk or whatever's life miserable trying to get, back into that hole. And eventually they'll give up. So this is what we're doing here. We have 100 foot of hardware cloth, and I'm cutting 75-inch sections so it fits in between the two vertical poles. Yes, it does leave about an inch gap between the two pieces of hardware cloth. Now, I was asked why I just didn't spread out a full 40 feet of hardware cloth underneath, and I think my problem would be doing that is these little feet at the bottom of the poles, they're round, and in order to fold the hardware cloth underneath them and up, I think it's going to create a bubble in the wire that I don't want. Well, here we go. Probably about 3 hours later. You can see what I did in the corners here. There's a 3 foot by 20 inch piece which connects both sides. And then we just have hardware fabric all the way around. I had just enough. I got about 2-3 feet left out of a 100-foot roll. So I don't think anything's going to be able to dig through this. Got 360-degree protection. There are these little like 1-inch gaps, but I'm not too concerned about them because all this hardware fabric is gonna get covered with dirt, and I'm gonna be planting grass seed, so the chances of an animal hitting that 1-inch strip and thinking they can dig, most of the critters I'm worried about have paws that big or bigger, and they're just not going to be able to dig through it. So it's coming along. Next thing will be to string the chicken wire on the actual pen itself. Basically, I just need you to hold this in. I'm going to try and push it up and over.
That's going to keep our chicken safe.
Yeah. Except from bears.
What are you going to try to push up and over? That whole thing?
Yeah, I have to.
Why would you pull it from this side and try to walk it up over?
You mean get it stretched out first?
Like, no, like, get under there, take this and start walking with it. And lift it up over and keep pulling it.
Come over here.
I don't know if you're understanding what I'm saying.
I'm not, but stand right here.
Doing the same thing that you're going to do with that, but with the lighter end, so you can get it up over and pull it over. Like, leave it sitting here so it just rolls.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep, I do now.
Because then you're not lifting the heavy thing up over, but you can drag that up over. And I'll just help this continue to.
Probably going to end up needing to buy more flexi ties, because I bet you they only give me one per tie, you know, just to tie to the cream. This is what it looks like. All tied together, the hardware cloth and the chicken wire all together. And we're going to do this all the way down the length of the pen. Looks like 4-foot sections maybe. Nothing should be able to get up between those two wires. And this hardware cloth will be buried in dirt, probably right up to the rails too. So,
We're planting with grass.
yep, we'll put grass seed down, and so any predators are going to just run right into the double wire right here. That's the first thing they're going to see with their nose. So it should be pretty good. Well, it's done. Screen is done on the end, on the door. Got some bungee cords, little ones, to hold the door open when I let the chickens out and leave them out for a few hours while I'm home. For now, we have these 2 tarps that came with it. You're supposed to put one on each end, but I'm going to be building a chicken coop right here on this end. So I put them both on one end, and we also have a 20 by 40 tarp anyway, which is clear, and it's going to cover this whole thing. So those are there temporarily just while I'm building the chicken coop over the next few weeks, because here in Vermont, it could be anywhere from the 30s to the 50s, raining or snowing over the next few weeks. So, but this is what it looks like, and a couple pieces of advice: don't stake it down until after you've put the wire around it and secured the wire, because it would have been really helpful if I could have lifted the pen up. These pens are not very heavy, so I kind of messed myself up when I staked it down first. Because I'm doing the hardware cloth on the bottom, it really didn't matter too much, but it probably would have been a little easier if I had staked it down after, at the very end, had staked it down. Other than that, I would say expect to use some more flexi ties, zip ties, than they provide. I would definitely have another couple hundred on hand, and I may actually add more to this if I see little spots where the chicken wire isn't really secured very well. I think I did a pretty good job, but yeah, I used all these black ones. Any of these black zip ties that you're seeing here, those are extra. They send white ones, and there's a lot more zip ties on this thing than those white ones. So that's the only 2 things that I saw. A piece of advice on staking it down, and definitely you're going to need more zip ties than what they give you. And we're going to put some chickens out here in a few weeks, and I hope they enjoy it. That's all for now. Once we cover it with the tarp, I might do another video. And once we get the chickens out here, of course, I'll do a video then. Like I said, this hardware cloth, it's all going to get covered with dirt. I'll put the big tarp on first, secure that, and then I'll take my tractor with the bucket, dig up some dirt, and spread it around on this, and then rake it out to make it nice and neat, and then throw some seed on it. So I'll be able to like mow right over the top of this during the summer. But so this is an update on the chicken pen. As I told y'all before, got the hardware cloth. We're going to cover that with dirt, plant seed. I got the tarp on it, the entire tarp. The white tarps came with the chicken pen. I put them up, and then the clear tarp over the top so they could have some sections with shade. And then these sections are clear throughout. The chickens will be able to see out, and we'll be able to see in to see what's going on in here. So that chicken pen is now complete, except for the dirt and the seed around the base. This latch here, I may put one up top and one down low. In fact, I know I will pretty soon here, which will make the door more secure. And it's still a mess in here, but I just built this chicken coop. It is 4x8 and about 5.5 feet tall and about 36 inches in the back, so about 3 feet. It's got some screen windows for ventilation. Got some hasps here, front and low, just in case something gets in so they can't get to the chickens. The chickens will always go in the coop at night. Got 4 laying boxes. And I'm going to put some catty corner roosts in here. That's the last thing I have to do with it. And then the chicken coop will be done. And I'm going to build one almost identical to it down at that end of the pen before the summer's over, because I'm going to have like 30 laying hens and a few roosters in here total. So they're going to need the extra coop for the winter. But that's where I'm at, and we're almost ready for chickens out here. They are in the brooders. They'll probably be in there till the end of April. The meat birds will definitely come out then and go in chicken tractors. I'm building a chicken tractor that's the same construction as this. It's the metal poles and the chicken wire, and it comes with one of these white tarps that goes over the whole thing. One of these white tarps. So I'll build that. That won't take me too long. And then I'm getting 2 chicken tractors that'll be 8x8, and they're made from 1x1 or 1x2 wood framing with chicken wire all around. And I'm going to take this metal sheeting and I'm going to put it on one of the 4x8 roof sections to give them some cover when it rains in the summer. And the meat birds and the turkeys will go in the chicken tractors. And this pen right here with the coop will be for laying hens only. So that's it. That's a wrap on our chicken pen building. And now our chicken coop. I didn't do an actual video for the coop. Quite honestly, I'm not the greatest builder, and I kind of hodgepodged it. But I learned a lot. Always count those 2x4s on the outside. They create extra space. So I actually had to cut off a section because I made it too tall and basically rebuild it because of my mistake. But that's okay. Live and learn. It's done. When I build the second one this summer, it'll go quicker and be better constructed. So that's it. And if you like this video on building a chicken pen and now taking a look at our chicken coop, like, subscribe, and share. Ring the little bell button. Click on it so that you'll get notified whenever I put up a video. I'm not here for, to get rich off YouTube. I'm just here to do some instructional videos and give other people who want to homestead some ideas about how to do things. And if you like those kind of videos, let me know, leave a comment, and we'll talk to you soon. Vermont Homesteader and Mountain Shadow Farm.